up in West Ashley, Charleston. Yeah, we were at Folly Beach, and we'd go out and watch the nesting sea turtles. And we knew to stay back, not to bother them. And this one turtle had gotten done, and some guys were coming down the beach, and they were talking about slaughtering a turtle. And me and my granddad went up and go, "You're not going to do that." He said, "Especially in front of this girl." And I'd always been interested in wildlife. I was always watching all the Jacques Cousteau movies and stuff. That's why I majored in marine biology at College of Charleston. I had a chance to compete in some U.S. surfing championships and some of the first pro contests on the West Coast. And so I'd gone out there, and Jerry had gone with me, and we were just a boyfriend and girlfriend then. And we came back after that, and I had about a month left before I had to go back to college. So we had friends that were working down here and running the places because they had been here for a while, like Calabogie Cafe down at Harbortown. So they told me, "Come on down, we'll give you a job." And the money was great, and it was only a couple of restaurants, one grocery store, a couple of gas stations. That was it. It was just 2-lane road. And then the waves were just beautiful. And nobody out, So we fell in love with the place. It was so natural. In the early years, you knew almost everybody. And the phone book looked like the Reader's Digest. And you only had to dial 4 numbers. So it's really come around a lot. From the 70s to the 80s is when we saw the big change. And then from the 80s, that's when all the construction and the building and just everything went crazy. In 1980, the Wildlife Department contacted me about doing sea turtle strandings because they were having so many strandings, like 600 on the state in the summer, and they were trying to figure out why. And I told them, I said, "This is the shrimp boats." Because opening day of the Sound, you'd see the shrimp boats out, and sure enough, that's May 1st, and here come the sea turtles, and then they're all on the beach and it's littered. So they came up with a 5-year study on the strandings to see if they could get the shrimp boats to start using a excluder device called the TED that they had developed, it's a big trap door, and it would shoot the big turtles and big animals out, like dolphins, and then also the big jelly balls too, which really helped. All these shrimpers were like, "Why are y'all so worried about a couple of dumb turtles?" Well, when you see how many they were taking out every year, and you see how long it takes for them to develop, do the math. It wasn't going to last long, So 1980, I started getting people calling me about the strandings, and they would see nesting tracks, and they would see nests. So I put a little ad in the paper, a little tiny 1-inch ad, and it was free, and just asked people to call if they saw stranded or turtle nests. And we got a whole group of people up and down in different areas that were beach walkers every morning, so it gave them something to do, and they'd call me. Of course, we didn't have cell phones back then, so they had to go all the way back to the house to make the call. Well, then I started finding out we were getting a lot of nestings also, and I talked to Sally Murphy, and she said there was nobody in the area that was doing nesting studies. So I got that added to my permit, and we started doing the nestings. But to do that, I had to tell her that I would definitely send her in a report at the end of the year, every year, to determine what we'd found and the survival rate and where they were nesting. And I was curious because all the new influx of building that we saw was getting ready to start along the beach. Was that going to affect where they nested? And what better place to try, right here, because it hadn't really started yet, And so we got some valuable information from that. And I actually started it in 81 on a bicycle. I would take my bicycle to wherever the closest area was, and somebody would call, and then I'd ride the bicycle and do whatever. Well, that kind of got, consuming. So that was in 1981 was our first report, and it went on from there. And then about 83, we started, got the idea to hire high school students to do the early morning walks on the beach or ride their bicycle. And they stayed with us for the 4 years, and then we'd get new people after that. And most everybody was doing it because they enjoyed it, not because they were getting paid. We just used a pencil and paper. I had these forms every day. We had a daily nesting form and then a weekly form. And we had long tape measures, and we decided to go ahead, and the only way to do any of this was to do a grid mark down the beach. And so we decided to use like 4-inch PVC pipes and kind of short, and we'd just walk it off, like pace it off down the beach, and then put them up into the primary dune so that they wouldn't be bothered. And we had a number on them and an emblem about turtle, do not remove. Well, I would get these phone calls from people going, how long is this post going to be out in front of my house? I said, I'm sorry, but so we tried to put it kind of in between places so they weren't staring at the post, and I could see their point, And then what we would do is, if we had a nest, we didn't actually take a sample and like they're doing now, but we would just determine if it looked like a nest or if it looked like a false crawl. And if it was a nest, then we would try to figure kind of what in the area. We'd measure down to the 4-inch post, and then we'd go back into the dunes with 2 different size PVC pipes, and we would do like a range marker where they would line up. And so you knew when those lined up, right out in front of there was where the nest was, and we would measure from each one and down. So it was kind of time-consuming there, taking the measurements. My background with surfing, and then we got into windsurfing, has really helped a lot as far as, just seeing what's really out there and what's going on. Well, I had seen it so much on the beach. I mean, you'd go out to the beach to go surfing and you just see it littered with turtles. I just had seen it. I wanted to help. The first year we registered 41 nests, and we had 38 strandings. And so at that time, we really didn't know how long it took them to come back to mature, to lay a nest. They were thinking 10, 20 years. And now we know it's 30 years. So those turtles that we were saving in 81 are the ones that are nesting now. It just amazes me. And I'm so proud of it. And Amber is just doing a beautiful job, And, I just want to thank all the people that helped us through the years. It's just, we couldn't have done it without them. That's a part of my life,